brothers, Koch 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 budget, Kochtopia, Kochtopia.
All right, say that 3 times fast. I dare you. Welcome back. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is Matthew Continetti. He is editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon and contributing editor to the Weekly Standard. Hey, Matthew.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, so we played Harry Reid, and we played that montage of him trashing 2 private U.S. citizens who contribute hundreds of millions of dollars to build hospital wings and cancer wards and all kinds of great things. He's called them un-American, and he despises them because they're not supporting his political party. Yet there are plenty of billionaires who do support his political party, though he'll never admit to that. And now with this this constitutional amendment that is being debated in the Senate regarding campaign finance, an attempt to undo Citizens United, I guess Harry Reid, as you write about at the Washington Free Beacon, silent coup, Harry Reid would like to, hand America over to liberal billionaires.
I think that's absolutely right. And I wrote last week about this vote on the Senate floor. It didn't pass, but it was a vote for a constitutional amendment that would have amended the Bill of Rights. First time this has ever really happened, that there was a proposal to amend the Bill of Rights. And it would have done so by giving government, not only federal government, but local government as well, the power to regulate speech, political speech. And this is something that Harry Reid is doing very cynically because he knows it's not going to pass. And so he knows he can raise money from the campaign finance reformers, so-called. But he also knows that if it were to ever pass, or the very threat of it passing, intimidates donors to Republican causes. And we're seeing this right now, where the Senate races that are currently in play, Republicans have been outspent by Democrats like Harry Reid and his PAC, and other Democratic donors and organizations are outspending Republican candidates in a year where really it's the Republicans to lose. So this threat of changing the Constitution to silence the opponents of Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama is working.
It's just it's just organizations like yours and mine and a few others that ever point out the fact that there are these liberal billionaires. Of course, there are some more notable than others, but there's a good handful of them that do exactly what the Koch brothers do for the Republicans. And if it weren't for, like I said, publications such as yours and Newsmax and others, the public would never have any idea. They would think that it's all one-sided.
It's the biggest myth of the Democratic Party, which is they think that their donors only donate out of self-interest or, so we can have the land of milk and honey in the United States, whereas Republican donors donate for self-interested causes, that they want to make money. That's not the case at all. If you look at someone like Tom Steyer, the liberal billionaire hedge funder who has become a left-wing environmental crusader, he, of course, was invested in a hedge fund that made money off of alternate energies subsidized by the government. So his war on coal actually ends up helping his businesses. So this is something that we try very much to educate the public about at the Washington Free Beacon, which is that Democratic donors are just as self-interested as anyone else. They have the same motives, some self-interest, some maybe highfalutin ideals, but they're no different than the Republican donors that Harry Reid demonizes on the floor of the United States Senate in an attempt to intimidate and bully donors to Republican and conservative causes.
And of course, this amendment passed a procedural vote, I think 70 some odd votes to move it ahead. But on the next vote, it did not get the required amount. I mean, and with the Senate sure to pick up some Republican seats, if not take over outright, this amendment has absolutely no future.
I think that's right, but it's a chilling sign of where the Democratic Party is headed. for a variety of reasons. That now the Democrats are so invested in imposing their vision of the country on the American people that they're willing to entertain amendments such as this. An amendment that I try to remind people was opposed by the American Civil Liberties Union. So if you have the ACLU teaming up with conservative Republicans like me or like Grover Norquist at Americans for Tax Reform, you know something is up. You know that that Harry Reid is up to no good. And so we have to be wary because when you least expect it, or if somehow the Democrats pull a miracle and maintain the Senate in the fall, we'll see amendments like this coming up for another vote again and again.
Yeah, be wary of Harry. I like that. Actually, that might be a good one. But you know, Ted Cruz, and I've talked to people, and they insist he's absolutely right. And he was, Alan Dershowitz called him one of the smartest, brightest law students he ever had. He said that, and he put up charts of various Saturday Night Live skits, political skits, Chevy Chase as Gerald Ford falling down, all this kind of stuff, the Sarah Palin imitators, Tina Fey, and said that under this constitutional amendment, the president of NBC, or at least the head of the entertainment division, whatever, could be put in jail for running those, which would be against the law under that constitutional amendment. And, you know, they deny it, but he's sticking by that.
Well, what the amendment said was that it would be up to federal and local governments to determine what type of communication is an advocacy of a candidate or an urge to vote against a candidate, yes or no. And right now, you know, you can have something like a skit that makes fun of Hillary Clinton, and that is protected speech. But if a legislature were to pass a law under this amendment that said, well, that skit, you know, that might influence people's votes about Hillary Clinton, so that is advocacy, that's advocacy one way or the other, so we need to suppress that. And that's exactly what happened with the Citizens United case. Remember, Citizens United made a film about Hillary Clinton that the federal government said could not be shown because it was advocacy. It was an attempt to harm her political future. And these types of questions should not be left to bureaucrats. All this speech should be protected, and that's, I think, what the ACLU was saying, and that's what others are saying, as well as Ted Cruz.
The Benghazi Select Committee hearing started today. The focal point of it basically was that the security advisories that were come up with by this committee after the fact, the new security arrangements and precautions have not been implemented. And I mean, that's not shocking on its face when it comes to a government, our government. But nonetheless, you would think that if, God forbid, it happened somewhere else and these enhanced security measures haven't been implemented a year after they've been advised to be implemented, again, someone else would be culpable here.
Well, let's remember the world we're living in. I mean, this hearing was taking place as elsewhere on Capitol Hill, they're debating this looming war against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. And so we're living in a world where ISIS is the biggest terrorist threat to the United States, at home and abroad. And to think that we still have embassies that are unprotected is a very scary thought.
It absolutely is. And, there's also hanging over this hearing, and we're going to speak to Cheryl Atkinson a little bit later in the show, is the State Department, former State Department official who claims that he was there when, in a back room somewhere, Hillary's staff took out documents that would have been incriminating or at least bad news for Hillary before they were all handed over to the impartial, quote-unquote, investigative committee or commission that did this study and the investigation and cleared basically the State Department. Cheryl Mills was allegedly came in and out to see how everybody was doing, and this is an African-American former State Department official, and now they're trying to trash him. And one of the things they're using to discredit him, believe it or not, is his poetry. So, it's always attack the messenger. Hopefully this will have legs, though.
I think it might. I mean, I think this is a credible whistleblower. Atkinson is a great investigative reporter for the Daily Signal and other places. And what it is, it's part of a narrative that I think is going to hurt Hillary Clinton in the coming years, which is that she is not separate from the Obama foreign policy, that it is, in fact, the Obama-Clinton foreign policy, and that will hurt her.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, Matthew, good talking to you, sir, as always. Thank you very much. Matthew Continetti, ladies and gentlemen, Editor-in-Chief, Washington Free Beacon, and contributing editor to the Weekly Standard. And when we come back, it's that time of the hour that you love oh so much. It's Gimme 5. Don't go away.